Welcome back to another Danny Phantom review. Today we are talking about the episode Fenton Menace, which is kind of a waste of a great Star Wars pun. I don't have a lot to say about this episode, so this video might be a little shorter. So very briefly, the plot of this episode is that Youngblood, the little kid pirate ghost played by Taylor Lautner, is back. Danny and his family accidentally let him loose when they go on a family outing trying to hunt ghosts underwater, and they come across the pirate ship that's still trapped underwater from the last episode with Youngblood. A little nice piece of continuity there. They accidentally let him free, and now he's terrorizing Danny, and this time Youngblood is taking on a cowboy theme, because I guess he can just change his gimmick to whatever he feels like. Which is kind of interesting, I guess. I like that they're trying something a little different here, and I guess it makes sense that Youngblood is supposed to be like a little kid, so, last week he was into pirates, now he's into cowboys, so his gimmick changes. So this episode has like this kind of weird framing device. It's told from the perspective of Jazz. We even get a "I bet you're wondering how we got here" intro, which is always great. And she kind of narrates throughout the episode, and we see events from her point of view, which is kind of strange. It's not a bad thing to have an episode focusing on Jazz, but the way they do it here I don't think totally works. The big thing in this episode is that Youngblood reveals that part of his abilities is that he can only be seen by kids or people who are not adults, and because Jazz considers herself to be an adult, she can't see him. And neither can Danny's parents. So they all think he's going crazy because he's like, look, it's a ghost, and they don't see it. It's sort of weird and kind of frustrating that they put this episode in Jazz's point of view, because Jazz at this point knows that Danny has ghost powers and fights ghosts and stuff, and so it's kind of weird that she doesn't just believe him that there is a ghost that is invisible, which again is one of the ghost's powers that's well documented in the show, that ghosts can turn invisible. Like in this episode, it's based on a very specific circumstance, but it's like a well-known thing throughout the series. I don't know. It seems a little out of character for Jazz to not believe him right off the bat, and so it's kind of frustrating to watch this episode from the perspective of another character when Danny's the one who's like struggling, and it's like obvious to us that something is going on and that Danny's not just losing it, but we don't know what. And also, I think there was a moment earlier where Tucker and Sam also don't see the ghost, which is like, wait a minute, why not?
You didn't see anything, did you?
So this episode isn't great overall. It's not terrible. Jazz has a kind of nice arc about like learning that she doesn't have to act like an adult all the time and she can enjoy being a kid. Like that stuff is fine. There's a little moment with she has this like Einstein themed teddy bear, which I think they set up in an earlier episode. So I like that attention to detail and stuff like that. But it's just kind of like a whatever episode where Jazz kind of causes all the problems and then at the very end helps out, when if she just kind of listened to Danny and trusted him, none of the problems would have happened in the first place. So I don't know. It's not my favorite episode. They are trying to develop Jazz. They are trying to do something different with Taylor Lautner. I like his stuff in this. I think he's fun. But it's just kind of like a weirdly structured episode. The like whole conceit of the episode doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Plus the whole thing that he can't be seen by adults wasn't really a thing that they established in the first episode that we met him. Like, I don't know if adults ever actually see him in that episode, but at the same time, it's weird that they never brought it up. So I don't know. Not my favorite episode. Not the worst one ever. That's it. It's just a very middling episode. That's all I have to say. So we'll see you next time, I guess.